2025 WTA Tour Awards, Foot Aryna Sabalenka, Madison Keys, Victoria Mboko Eala. The 2025 WTA Tour season was hugely entertaining, with an array of incredible storylines and epic matches emerging across the year. 4 different champions were crowned at the Grand Slams, but it was a year of immense consistency at the top of the women's game, while several rising stars made significant moves forward in their careers. Here, looking back at the year as a whole, we handed out our 2025 WTA Tour Awards. Best Player, Aryna Sabalenka. It was a hugely competitive and high-quality year at the top of the women's game, though Sabalenka remained atop the WTA rankings throughout. Winning her 4th Grand Slam title at the US Open, Sabalenka won 4 WTA titles in total and reached a further 5 finals in by far and away the most consistent year of any woman in 2025. Best Match, Madison Keys def Iga Swiatek 5-7, 6-1, 7-6, 8, Australian Open SF. The latter stages of the 4 Grand Slams produced an array of memorable matches in 2025, though Keys' battling win over Swiatek in Melbourne may have been the pick of them all. It looked as if Keys would just miss out on a stunning victory, only for the American to save a match point late on, before stunning Swiatek in a thrilling final set tiebreak. Best Moment, Madison Keys' Australian Open triumph. Keys' win over Swiatek in the semi-final may have been the match of the year, and her overall run was undoubtedly the best story of the whole season. Tennis News. Ranking the 10 best WTA Tour matches of 2025, Foot Sabalenka, Swiatek, Keys, and Anisimova. Ranking the 10 best WTA Tour players of 2025, Foot Sabalenka, Swiatek, Goff, and Anisimova. So long dubbed as the WTA's nearly woman, she rewrote the story of her career, beating Elena Rybakina, Alina Svitolina, Swiatek, and Sabalenka in consecutive 3-set matches to capture an elusive major title. Most Improved, Amanda Anisimova. There were several contenders here, but Anisimova's rise to becoming a genuine contender at the very top of the sport marks her out as the most improved star of 2025. Starting the year ranked 36th in the world, the 24-year-old cracked the top 20, top 10, and top 5 of the WTA rankings, ending 2025 as the world number 4 after winning 2 WTA 1000 titles and reaching 2 Grand Slam finals. Breakout Star, Victoria Mboko. The likes of Mboko Eala, Lois Boisson, and Maya Joint all contended for this award, but Mboko's stunning success marked her out as the breakout star of the 2025 WTA season. Starting the year outside of the top 300, Mboko surged up the WTA rankings before a stunning run to the WTA 1000 Canadian Open title, and ended the year inside the top 20 after winning the Hong Kong Tennis Open. Coach of the Year, Risk Vlieshowers. The likes of Anton Dubrov, Sabalenka, and Natalie Taziat, Mboko, were strong contenders here, but Vlieshowers' work with Anisimova is more than worthy of recognition. Dutchman Vlieshowers was imperative in Anisimova's rise towards the top of the WTA Tour in 2025, and their partnership looks set to grow further across 2026 and beyond. Biggest upset, Mboko Eala def Iga Swiatek 6-2, 7-5, Miami Open. There was a string of shock results across the WTA Tour in 2025, though arguably none were more shocking than Eala's surprise win over Iga Swiatek in Miami. Ranked outside the top 130, the Filipino was a huge underdog against world number 2, though she produced the performance of her career to stun the former Miami Open champion in straight sets. Comeback of the Year, Belinda Bencic. Bencic is one of the most experienced players on tour, and 2025 will surely go down as one of her most satisfying seasons, rising up to world number 11 following her return from maternity leave late last year. The Swiss reached the semi-final of Wimbledon and the 4th round of the Australian Open, alongside winning WTA 500 titles in Abu Dhabi and Tokyo across a remarkable 2025.1 to watch. Linda Noskova. Noskova did not always attract the headlines that other WTA young guns did, but the Czech looks primed and ready for a huge 2026. The 21-year-old reached 3 WTA finals in 2025, including her first WTA 1000 final at the China Open, and her year-ending ranking of 13th puts her on the brink of a major breakthrough. Read next, which active WTA players have earned the most prize money? Sabalenka, Swiatek, Goff. Star. The ballroom glowed with a champagne shimmer, cameras flashing like a constellation reborn every second. The 2025 WTA Tour Awards had always been tennis night of glitz, but this year felt different. Electric, unpredictable, charged by the energy of a tour that had refused to follow any script. And as four women took their seats near the front row, each carrying her own season carved from triumphs and turbulence, the anticipation in the room thickened like the final set tension of a slam final. Aryna Sabalenka, Player of the Year. There were murmurs the moment Aryna Sabalenka walked in, dressed sharply, radiating confidence, the kind that comes only from surviving storms and learning to dance in the rain. Her 2025 season had been a spectacle to behold. She'd fought off early-year criticism, a mid-season injury scare, and the weight of expectations that had grown heavier with every passing month of her reign near the top of the rankings. When her name was called as Player of the Year, the applause was thunderous. Sabalenka rose, expression both fierce and soft, a paradox only she could embody. This year, she began, holding the trophy that glinted under 1,000 spotlights, I learned that pressure is not the enemy. It's a reminder that you're doing something that matters. Her victories had been forged through grit, a season defined by full-throttle baseline power, rejuvenated footwork, and a serve that boomed like a drum echoing across the tour. She had reclaimed titles, silenced doubters, and embraced her status as the tour's anchor, fearless, combustible, unstoppable. But beneath her fiery persona, there had been vulnerability too. Emotional interviews that showed her humanity, moments of doubt turned into motivation. And as she stood there, golden trophy in hand, every player in the room felt the magnetism of a woman who had refused to bow to pressure or expectation. Madison Keys, Comeback of the Year. If Sabalenka's season was defined by force, Madison Keys was marked by grace, but the sharp, resilient kind. For much of 2024, Keys had battled injuries that made her career feel like an unfinished sentence. The headlines spoke of uncertainty. Could she still produce magic? But in 2025, she answered that question with the quiet ferocity of a veteran refusing to fade. On clay, she rediscovered her movement. On grass, her effortless power returned. And on hard courts, her spiritual home, she reminded the world that few could unleash a first strike quite like she could. When she was announced as Comeback Player of the Year, she closed her eyes briefly, almost as if letting the moment sink into memory. I didn't know if I'd be standing here this season, she said softly, but I knew I wanted to try. And trying, I guess, was enough. The standing ovation that followed wasn't just respect. It was admiration for a woman whose tennis had always carried a touch of poetry, fluid, emotional, and deeply human. Victoria Mboko, Newcomer of the Year. Then came the moment that signaled a changing of the guard. Victoria Mboko, the teenage sensation from Canada, sat still in her seat as her name echoed across the hall. She blinked once, almost in disbelief, before breaking into the broadest, most infectious smile of the night.